Hello, everyone. So great to see This is super cheery, huh? it was a little over the top even for me. No, I caught myself as soon as I did it. It was a little too much enthusiasm.
You should have had like a coffee cup.
That is how. Hello.
6
So
a.m.
nice to see
overbearing.
all of you.
Yes. Yeah,
Overbearing.
Yeah. Yes.
I am just so excited to see so many people in the chat already. And thanks so much to all of you for joining us for another edition of Check-In. We are getting ready for game 79 tonight. And oh my goodness, what a great one.
Yeah.
This is a highly anticipated one between the top two teams in the division right now, with the Jets in Dallas. Just 4 points separating them in the standings. And let me tell you, the narratives right now, with only 4 points separating them in the standings, the narratives certainly very different around these two teams.
Yeah, let's start with the Dallas Stars. They were up 5-2 on home ice against Vancouver the other night, and then they gave up 3 goals in the last 59 seconds, then lose in overtime. And it is off in Dallas right now. So
there's panic.
Yeah, so
amongst the fan base.
And they're still in it. So it's just like
they're only 4 points back, but they have given up third period leads in 3 consecutive games. They're winless in their last 3 games with losses to Pittsburgh, Minnesota, and then Vancouver. It was the first time in NHL history that 3 goals had been given up in the final minute of the game, and they go on to lose it against the Canucks. So certainly there's some concern. I was listening to a Stars podcast this morning, and it's not good in terms of level of concern. There is a little bit of panic there right now. Whereas the Winnipeg Jets, we saw a hot and cold road trip. Wasn't what they were looking for, but then they came back with a huge win against the St. Louis Blues.
So that was the 17th consecutive game they've allowed less than 30 shots.
Yeah.
And they only allowed 15 against the team that was the hottest in the National Hockey League since the Four Nations break. St. Louis had won 12 in a row, 15 shots.
Yeah.
15. And the Jets dominated the first period, deserved much better than going into the second tied at 0. And then they had that 2-1 lead. And, we've seen Connor Hellebuck not be busy a lot this year.
Yep.
But when it mattered the most, he made a huge stop on Pavel Buchnevich when they were up 2-1, when St. Louis was pressing. St. Louis only had 2 shots through the first 17 and a half minutes of the third period. And then, of course, they had their push at the end. And the Jets wrap it up with an empty net goal. But it was, Mason Appleton hit a post to the open net, and you're always like, you have that little pit in your stomach, because we've seen so many times where you miss that open net and the other team comes back the other way. But they locked things down, as we've seen them do so many times this year when they're being pushed, and then a quality team comes in, or they go into some of the other team's building, they answer again. And I think that just says a team that is special written all over it. And I don't know how many other times we can show, or they can show to people, how good this team is.
Well, I just love the response. And I had said to a couple of people after the disappointment in Utah and the way that they played in that game, I said, no, watch, they're going to come back against St. Louis. And we've seen that. And that's something that's been consistent throughout this season. If they haven't played well, they haven't played well in one game, they followed up usually with another one, especially if it's a big game. So looking forward to this one, and we'll dive into everything regarding Stars and Jets over the next 30 minutes. Really looking forward to our guests today. We've got a couple of great ones. Chris Johnston from The Athletic and TSN, one of our favorite hockey insiders.
Yeah.
And then Bruce Levine, radio host, pre- and post-game shows for the Dallas Stars.
I'll show you this before. Like, this is the tweet from Bruce Levine the other night when Dallas gave up that lead. So the Stars post-game shows live. It's cheaper than therapy. So that was one of my. So Bruce will be joining us. Obviously, the man has a great sense of humor, and we're looking forward to seeing what he has to say about what things are like in Dallas right now, and the latest on their injured players like Miro Heiskanen and Tyler Seguin.
Everybody's getting closer to returning. We're going to talk to Chris Johnston about that too. When you look across the league, but especially, obviously our emphasis is on the Central and on the West in particular. And there are a number of big names, it seems, for every team that's coming back. But the Jets morning skate has taken place, and it's time to take a look at the lines, because I think people are going to want to see this. Have not gotten confirmation, haven't seen it yet to confirm, because we have seen Ehlers take part in morning skate and line rushes last game as well.
Yeah, so it's great to see him there, but this hasn't been confirmed just yet. And then, of course, Neil Pionk has been around for a long time, and he took part of many morning skates, but it looks like he's locked in with Dylan Sandberg. Stanley and Shen on that third defense pairing. Luke Shen did not skate with the team yesterday. the Jets give him another opportunity to go home and visit family before the game against Dallas. So he'll be ready to go for this one. And of course, there's no question that Connor Hellebuyck will start in goal here this evening against the Stars.
No, so it will be, here we go. Mike McIntyre, who is covering the game down in Dallas for the Winnipeg Free Press, says that Scott O'Neill has said Nikolai Ehlers and Neil Pionka game time decisions tonight.
Mm-hmm.
David Gustafson, who would be a scratch if Ehlers plays, did come off with the main group and didn't stay out for extra work. So he's certainly on standby. So we will have to wait and see. But positive signs, obviously, to have both of them taking part in it again. Hopefully, when you think of the magnitude of this game, how great it would be to be able to have 27 and 4 back in the lineup.
Right. And I think it changes things a lot too, because Dylan Sandberg and Neil Pionka have no question been a great defense pairing all year long. And if you can get your best defenseman and your best core out there, that only helps you in a game of this magnitude. And considering what the Jets can do and really put a lock on the Central Division should they win this game. Now there's mathematical possibilities that Dallas can still win the division. Should the Jets win tonight in regulation, but it really, I think it's 99.9% chance the Jets win the division if they win in regulation tonight in Dallas.
And we won't take you through all the different mathematical possibilities because math is not an area that JT and I excel in.
Math
I was trying to do grade 10 math the other day with my daughter, and I read it and thought, nope, this is a no-go.
My son got like 79 in math right now. He's in grade 12, and I'm like, this is garbage. He's like, first off, I said it's 76. He goes, first off, Dad, it was 79. I'm like, no. So you feel
already that gives you an idea of how math is for JT.
Terrible at it.
We mentioned that Jamie was mentioning that Connor Hellebuyck gets the start tonight. Jake Ottinger in net. We know that for the Dallas Stars. Those two have gone head-to-head all season long. All 4 now of the games in this season series, those have been your 2 netminders. Let's take a look at the standings as we look. Now, we mentioned that there's 4 points that separate them.
There you go.
For it. And then how about this? Minnesota, St. Louis, Minnesota winning last night. So they have jumped ahead of St. Louis for it. So I think there's a lot of intrigue still that goes on. I think you look, Edmonton won last night with the return of Connor McDavid. So what that could mean eventually, I mean, there's still some things to be decided when it comes to that Pacific division, the second and third.
Well, it looks like LA and Edmonton are going to play again, but it's just about home ice.
Who has home ice? Exactly.
Calgary is the last remaining team. Vancouver was eliminated last night, didn't even play. So it's the Calgary Flames, the only team that has a shot to get in there as a wild card. They blew a third period lead against Anaheim. They were up 3-1 in the third period and lost in overtime. So a devastating loss for the Calgary Flames, who do have a head-to-head matchup with the Minnesota Wild coming up on their schedule, but it gets a lot tougher for them as they close out the season. They got LA on the road. We all know how hard it is to win in Los Angeles. And of course, they'll play Vegas before that on home ice. So it looks at this time that it's going to be St. Louis and Minnesota as the wildcard teams in the Western Conference.
Yeah, just which one would you rather?
I heard someone say it's bad karma to say you wish for an opponent, but
okay.
So I do. Both Kaprizov and Joel Eriksson came back last night. So it's not like you're going, oh, this is awesome, we'll just take you. Yeah. So and as we know, we've seen Kirill Kaprizov burn the Jets many times. So I think they can beat either one.
I think absolutely.
Dylan Holloway's banged up for St. Louis right now. He's their second leading scorer. So lots to be decided here, but intriguing matchups at this point as we head into as the season winds down here.
I saw someone asking about Rasmus Kupari in the chat. Kupari was also on the ice, according to Mitchell Clinton, in a regular jersey. He was in non-contact yesterday, so a positive sign, but he was not taking part in the line rushes.
Yeah. B. Henderson, I see the question, the team versus Utah, not the same team versus St. Louis, but is the same team. Please explain. What we've seen, and Kyle Connor talked about this the other day, the team is trying to find that consistent level. Yeah. Where, again, as we just talked about, when there's an elite team out there, the Jets lock things down. There's that focus on everything, and it hasn't happened recently against lesser opponents. And they do have a couple of those coming up on the schedule. They have Chicago on Saturday, and you close out the regular season on home ice and fan appreciation night against the Anaheim Ducks. That's the games you have to be leery of. Are you ready? This is how. Yeah. Oh, game 79. We're so in. So these were the two quotes that I wrote down from one Kyle Connor. Yeah. Post game.
It's kind of close to a playoff atmosphere. It was another sellout,
yeah,
as we should point out, at Canada Life Center. It was kind of close to a playoff atmosphere kind of game. Everyone looked at each other and got up for this one, and we just embraced the moment. And then a couple of times we win a big game, and the next night it's not quite there. So that's something we're working on.
Perfect.
So
the timing of that was immaculate, by the way.
You know, there we go. All right.
A man who has great timing, as always. I don't think I need to introduce him, but I have to. It's Chris Johnston.
But I have to. He's got a great hat.
Okay, explain the hat. Right off the top.
It's just a local company. It's a husband and wife team that have a shop in Toronto that I walked into once. Bought the hat, and I swear, of any piece of clothing I've ever owned, I've gotten more comments, mostly positive, on it. So I've bought the hat several times over. I have it in a few different colors, and just supporting a local shop here in the city I live in.
Well, it looks fantastic, CJ. I love it. Let's talk a little bit about this game here tonight. I mean, I was looking across the matchups that are going on in the NHL tonight, and this one is the most intriguing one, I think, out there. At least has such huge possibilities, not only because of the 4 points that separate them in the standings, but also just you got two Central Division heavyweights going head to head and doing battle. What is it that you would be looking forward to about seeing this matchup tonight?
Well, I mean, the points are so important, I think, and especially feels like the Jets have been at the top of the division forever. Maybe it has actually been forever, but, Dallas has made it interesting with how hot they've been over the last month. Winnipeg might want to send a gift basket to Vancouver maybe for coming back and winning that game in unlikely fashion the other night, which, at least cost Dallas a point and, makes the odds of the Jets winning the Central a little bit greater, but, it's still up for grabs. And so I think I do believe that there's, especially in the Central, there's no easy matchup. It feels like a division of heavyweights. The Blues have lost a couple now, but they've been so hot too themselves. And you look at Colorado, Dallas, and Winnipeg. There's a bunch of teams there that I could, for sure see winning the Stanley Cup this year, but only one of them can emerge from the division. Only one of them, depending what happens, can even get to the Western Conference Finals. So, what's in my mind as I watch a game like this is just seeing how the teams stack up with each other. Thinking about the possibility, maybe we don't know how the standings are going to finish, that they play in the playoffs. And then, of course, really the points themselves matter so much because there are still some seeding up for grabs here in the last week of the season.
Okay, so things are getting a lot more interesting in the Western Conference as we talk about it. So there's a possibility Gabe Villard is going to be back. You got Landeskog. McDavid just came back yesterday. Kaprizov, Heiskanen, Sagan, Eriksson Ek, all coming back, it looks like. So
we can go for 4 minutes just on all the players that are expected to be back potentially by the time the postseason starts.
So the point is, that 5-hour question is, how loaded is the Western Conference and how exciting are you expecting this to be over the next couple of months?
Well, it adds an element to me of just unpredictability because, while we wish all those players could be back and in top form and at their best, the reality is that might not be the case, right? In some cases that time off might prove almost like a silver lining. Connor McDavid might have a massive playoffs now, and he'll look back on, the 2 weeks here where he got to rest his body up while he was healing and say it was great. But some players may not rediscover their timing. The cruel part of the Stanley Cup playoffs is for some teams, and I'm talking about even good teams, it might last 10 or 11 days. And so there's not a huge window for any of these players to get back to their best. And so, I just think it adds just a little extra element of, I don't know what's going to happen to everything. Joel Eriksson Ek proved that wrong. He scored 4 goals last night after, his long layoff. So, it's I'm not certainly saying that these guys won't have some immediate impact, but I do think that there's just a little bit of a, element of the unknown with them all coming back. And a team like Edmonton, which has had so many injuries, Draisaitl out, Stuart Skinner's been out. They've had some other absences too. So, it's the best time of the year and everything matters so much. And, clearly getting back basically that all-star team that you listed off across the teams, trying to make their way through the playoffs is going to be pretty exciting.
Okay, just quickly before our last question, I just have to follow up. So I know that the Jets have had their issues, obviously, with Colorado in the postseason. But the fact that Landeskog is down on a conditioning stint and Jared Bednar says when he's ready to go, he will be in the lineup. I love that story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the idea of everything that he has been through, for him to fight back, to potentially after a couple of years away, be back playing and be able to be more on his terms. That's one of my favorite things about sports. Are you looking forward to seeing? I mean, I know it's a huge mountain to even try to come back in a regular season, never mind postseason. But I mean, that's got to be, if he's able to do it, that's got to be one of the feel-good stories of the postseason.
I can't think of anything like it in recent years. I mean, we can go way back to Mario Lemieux coming back from cancer, or there's some for those that are a little younger, might not even know the references I might make. But Gabriel Landeskog hasn't played a game in 3 seasons, nearly 3 full years almost. He's coming back from a knee surgery no players ever had and played in the NHL again. And from what I understand, there's the risk at any point that if he has the same injury again, his career's done in an instant. Like there's not sort of degrees of this. It's either it works or it doesn't. So the stakes are incredibly high. And that's why even as much as the hope naturally gets up, you see him go down to the AHL team on a conditioning loan. He's supposed to play there tomorrow. I hate to say it, but you have to hold your breath a little bit, because if there's any setback, it could be the setback that ends the whole thing, stops it in its tracks. So, I hope the best for him. Obviously, he's been very, I think, open about sharing his experiences and coming back, the challenges he's faced, his family have faced. And if he ever gets to play another playoff game, in Denver at Ball Arena, I just think the reception will be one of those ones that makes the hair on your arm stand up, because he means so much to that team, and obviously he's been through so much just to even get back to where it might be possible.
Yeah, absolutely. CJ, just before we let you go, it's obviously been a really difficult week around the league with a couple of passings of men that are incredibly loved by so many, with Greg Millen passing away earlier, and then the news about Ray Shero yesterday. You wrote pieces on both of them, and just maybe give our viewers just a sense of what it was like, because you had a tremendous story about Greg Millen that you wrote about, and then just the outpouring of respect and love that people seem to have for Ray Shero.
Sure. Well, we're talking about two people here that have spent literally a lifetime in the game, that know everybody. I'm sure you guys have crossed paths with them both many times, as have I. I mean, the hockey world truly is small. And unfortunately, both died without any warning in their 60s. So I think, for all those reasons, it hits close to home for a lot of people in the sport. With Greg Millen, he and I worked together at Sportsnet for years. There was a long period of time where we both worked on Maple Leafs broadcasts. So we were traveling to the same places in the same arenas, having drinks in the same bars or restaurants. And so got to know him really well on a personal level. Was just a tremendous guy. I mean, really was the kind of a prankster at times. Didn't mind kind of stirring it up with the reporters. He would always, if he didn't like, something we were, an angle maybe we were all pursuing that day on the beat, he wouldn't mind critiquing our work. But at his heart was, really someone who made you feel special. My mom died 10 years ago, pretty unexpectedly, pretty quickly herself, and Greg surprised me and my family, showed up on his own at her funeral, and didn't have any idea he might come. And, that was something that really stuck with me at the time. It meant a lot. Ray, I knew more just in the professional sense, in that, as a reporter in the league for the years, he was a general manager in Pittsburgh and New Jersey. We, talked a lot, obviously, professionally, but, what stands out to me is just how generous he was in spirit. Very pleasant to deal with. I don't recall ever really having any run-ins with him or anything like that, and just tremendously respected. I mean, it's hard to explain when his whole life was hockey, right? His dad's in the Hockey Hall of Fame. He grew up around the Philadelphia Flyers in the 70s, that won 2 cups with his dad as the coach. He works 30 years in front offices. His own 2 sons now are both amateur scouts, one with Philadelphia now, one with Columbus. These are people that are really tied to everybody in our sport. You do 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, it would be like 1 degree of Ray Shero, I think. So, a lot of heavy hearts this week, and just send my best to their families, obviously, and anyone who's hurting a little bit, in the wake of these 2 losses.
Yeah, same with us. Obviously, Jamie and I have talked a lot about it this week. Greg Millen was someone that both of us knew, I mean, better than Ray Shero, but just when you saw the outpouring, those are two people that if we could take some of the characteristics that they had and more people had them, I think we'd probably all be a little bit better off. But great tributes to both of them, CJ, in The Athletic. If people haven't had the opportunity to read it, highly recommend that they do. Thanks so much, CJ. We'll let you get going. Enjoy the games tonight. Hopefully we will see you somewhere on the playoff beat when it gets going in just over a week and a half.
You can be sure of that. I'm looking forward to getting an early taste of the playoffs with that game you guys got there tonight.
Looking forward to it. Thanks so much, CJ.
See you, buddy.
See ya.
Chris Johnston joining us.
Yeah, it is. I really do. People, if you have a subscription to The Athletic, you really should read it. It was very nice pieces that he did on both of them. And as I said, both men, just the way that they treated people is the biggest takeaway that you have from all of it. And just so unfortunate. So such sad news that both were lost so early.
The tough part about this is like, you don't want to inject yourself in the story, but Greg Millen was the nicest man. And that's I've heard consistently from everybody. And he treated me well from all the times that I ran into him. I throw him a text every once in a while. He always gets back to you from what I've seen and read, all out there, like you've seen Doug McLean, you've seen a lot of people at Sportsnet reach to talk about him. Just a great person. I did not have the chance to run into Ray Shero, but just from what I've seen, nothing but great things to say about him too. So it's been a tough week for the hockey world. But people, it just goes to show you how tight the group is and how great it is that we get to be a part of this and get to know all these great people.
Absolutely. And you know that regardless of which teams they were associated with or what games they were calling, they would love to be watching a game like the Stars and the Jets tonight as we continue to set it up.
That's just so we're just waiting along on Bruce Levine here. He was popping in a little bit. So as we know, there can be technical difficulties. We'll see if Bruce can I saw him join us a couple of times. And
it's a good thing that then I'm not in charge of it, because I would have tried to click on.
For sure. He was moving around. So you've done another great job getting to help people to know the players of the Winnipeg Jets. You have another home ice that has just been released.
Yes.
So tell the viewers a little bit about that before we show you the trailer, because a guy that is, I think, underappreciated from across the league, but certainly not here.
No. So the newest home ice was released last night, and it is on the one, the only, Vladdy the Baddie.
Yeah.
Vladislav Nemesnikov. You've been throughout the league and get 7 different organizations you've been a part of. And when you signed an extension in Winnipeg back in 2023, one of the comments you made was that you hope that you'd found a home. You've signed another extension to stay in Winnipeg again. Do you feel as if you have found a home with the Jets and the city of Winnipeg?
I do. I feel like ever since that first day I got to Winnipeg and got to meet everyone, it just felt right. What
is it that you felt a connection to?
I think one, it just feels like a family here. Like all the guys are so tight. We love going to dinners together, and it just feels like it's right. And
big goal for us, and some nice moves off there.
Anyways, I'll get a look at it tonight on the first intermission on the Jets broadcast, Jets on TSN. But then the full episode, as always, is available on the Winnipeg Jets YouTube channel.
Yeah, awesome. Let's go to our next guest. Bruce Levine is joining us at this moment. And let me just fix the camera shot. There he is. Bruce, is everything okay in Dallas? What's going on? Oh, Adam. Bruce. Okay, I promise Bruce is going to join us here momentarily.
Did you cut him off?
I did not.
Are you
swear
sure?
to God. My hands were up here. I cannot do any damage with my hands up here.
This is how we're going to have Jamie do the show from now on. Hands up here. Not my fault.
This is my promo shot.
He will be.
I didn't do it.
He will be back momentarily. Yeah. Bing. As we back. So yes, there is a new home ice going. There will be another runway coming up on Sunday, so looking forward to that as well. And
before you do this, Sarah showed me a part of it, and it's the best part about working with you is I get to see these things beforehand.
Don't know if that should be the best part, but whatever. That's cool.
Part of working with you. I get to see things first. And you ask me my opinion. That's the other part.
It's true.
Yeah.
I do.
So few people ask me for my opinion. So I enjoy
I don't
these
always
things.
take it, but I ask.
Yeah, you're just
It's
exactly.
important to- yeah.
Listen, the whole point of it is that it's so good. When you watch this upcoming edition, it'll make you want to run out to your house, or run out of the house, buy tickets for the playoffs, and get behind this team if you haven't already. I know you guys all have, or else you wouldn't be watching the show. But it's so good.
Yes.
It's emotional. There's some pumping of the tires of the great Connor Hellebuck.
Well, it's true. I mean, it's easy to do.
It's just.
Right. Oh, we're glad that you love Runway.
I love. Yeah. See, like. Thank you, James. Thank you.
Right.
So it's like it's so good. The music is great underneath it. So I mean, we are speaking of pumping people's tires. I'm always talking about the guys behind the scenes that do all the work and the editing and the shooting. They've done a great job again. So this is gonna be great stuff.
For it. Well,
Start the playoffs now, but we still have 4 games to go.
we still do. So tonight in Dallas, obviously, such a huge game with only 4 points separating these two teams in the standings. We saw the big win against Dallas here. The home team has won all 3 of the games so far in this season series. So we will see how Winnipeg is able to do. They have had some struggles when they've been playing at American Airlines Center, but obviously we talked about it earlier that the Stars have been having issues as well. They have lost or winless in their last 3 games. They have blown third period leads. So that is a big storyline for them. But, you know, you look at odds makers. I was telling you just beforehand, I saw it pop up that odds makers have the Jets as being underdogs going into this game tonight. And
I know the players don't need anything extra on this one, but that's like, I'm sure they're not going to throw that up on there. Fun fact, or not so much fun fact for Dallas. Dallas was 35-1-1 when leading after 2 periods.
Yep.
Until these last 3 games.
For it.
Now they're 35-2-3.
Word.
So that's and watching the Canucks game on Tuesday, the defensive breakdowns in their zone was stuff I haven't seen Dallas do all year. That has been their bread and butter, much like Winnipeg, as their defense in their own end. And you could tell Pete DeBoer was just at a loss for words for the way things were happening. Jamie Benn talked about afterwards, they have to fix it. There's just a lot of things. It's something to be aware of because Dallas is going to have the bee in the bonnet, the whole thing we go down the list about this one and heading to a game against the Jets, especially at this magnitude where they have to win if they want to still win the Central Division.
Absolutely.
But that being said, we've talked ad nauseum about how many times the Jets have had this type of game and they just elevate. Yeah.
And they did it in their win against St. Louis and in front of another sold out crowd. The atmosphere is great. It was described as a playoff like atmosphere. So looking forward to that. We're hoping that Bruce is going to be able to rejoin us, but why don't we throw the lines back up quickly in case some of you are joining us late and didn't have the opportunity to see. This is from Mitchell Clinton, saying that Nikolai Ehlers was in morning skate again, taking line rushes on that second line. And you look at Neil Pionk on that second pairing, a spot that everyone loves to see him in beside Dylan Sandberg. That pairing has had so much success this season. The official word, Mike McIntyre, who is down there for the Winnipeg Free Press, saying that the word from Scott O'Neill afterwards was that they are both game time decisions. So we will see. And Connor Hellebuck, no surprise, starting a net for a game like this. Jake Ottinger will be in net for the Stars.
Well, our good friend Bruce won't be able to join us. Maybe down the road we'll have to have him on the show. But Winnipeg Sports Talk is just starting to roll here momentarily, so we'll set you up for them as well. Lots of more Jets talk on the way. Anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, I just want to throw in before we get here. Love seeing so many of you in the chat, and we are going to keep this up during the playoffs as well. We are going to go, as always, every game day. Pretty happy that regardless of opponent, it's Central Division, so it looks like the 12:30 time that we have should be beneficial and should be able to work. Also, tickets for the playoffs go on sale tomorrow. So we're going to have to keep an eye. They are not expecting many at all. When we had the whiteout party launch.
Great job out there, by the way.
The presser for it, that they are looking. It was chilly.
Wait, Bruce is there.
Yes.
Okay, Bruce. Here we go. They still call him Bruce in 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Hey, Bruce. How you doing?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I hear audio. Bruce, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank goodness, Bruce. I thought they had cut off the line from Winnipeg to Dallas. A little concerned about that. And, of course, with the way things have been going on for the Dallas Stars in the last 3 games, is everybody okay in Texas right now?
Well, first of all, everyone's more concerned about the fact that Luka came back. So
I
Right.
nobody's
know,
really
last
paying
night.
too much attention.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay, well, we'll have to try
I'll have to
Bruce
get-
again, but he is right. You saw a very emotional.
Yes, Luka Doncic returned
Yes.
last night with the Los Angeles Lakers.
The crying
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
tribute video.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
nuts. I'm sorry, Bruce. We're gonna have to be able to work this out, but
we appreciate so much, Bruce, if he is able to hear us. We
Yeah.
appreciate so much the time, and we look forward to being able to have him on. We'll talk playoffs with him at some point,
Yeah.
regardless
Yeah.
of whether or not it's in the second round. We'll certainly keep an eye on whatever series the Dallas Stars are on. But as I mentioned, I see a bunch of people saying that they have got their tickets already.
Mhm.
You were able to get, if you've got, if you're a season ticket member or have your packages. So tickets go on sale though on Friday. They're expecting less than 1,000 single game tickets to be available. So keep that in mind going. Also, there's the Whiteout Street Party.
mhm.
We are going to be giving away tickets to the street party.
Next
We know what
Wednesday.
a great atmosphere it is.
Yeah.
So, and we love having so many of you around, and we love having so many of you in the chats that have joined us. We see so many regulars there. So we are going to be giving away a bunch of tickets to the street party because we know that although it's great to be inside, second best thing is being able to partake in that atmosphere.
Right. And I think last year was just so crazy, and it was not long enough. But man, it's just like it's starting to warm up here, so it's now time for some street parties. So looking forward to giving away those tickets to you next
Yes.
Wednesday. In the meantime, it is the Jets in Dallas take on the Stars, hopefully to lock down the Central Division with a win here tonight in regulation. We're all waiting to see. It's going to be very exciting. And of course, you can watch that game on TSN or listen to it on CJOB or Power 97.
There you go. And we will be back joining you on Saturday.
Yeah.
The Jets will play their final regular season road game
Mhm.
against the Chicago Blackhawks. So looking forward to that one. Looking forward to having you all join us. And we really appreciate you stopping by today. Enjoy the game, everyone.
See you, everybody.
Thanks for checking in.